At least one line.
It's going down like this, motherfucker.
Ask you something? I said, can I ask you something? Ain't I'm clean?
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was hoeing. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite. For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite. For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society.
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
This ain't loud enough. This ain't loud enough. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying.
I just left a light in this bit. I just left a light in this bit. I just left a light in this bit.
Fuck up. Move the fuck back. Fuck up. Move the fuck up. Move the fuck back. Fuck up. Move the
I just left a light in this.
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying.
Joe V. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk. Killed the monkey. Threw the bat out the window. Start kicking that bitch in the air. My eye. Plus, I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
Group of you together, you never can tell who's who. I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it.
You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling.
I mean TikTok. 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 I mean TikTok.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
Hey, dance with me. Hey, dance with me.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
I don't mean to be out of line. I don't mean to be out of line.
Where's all that noise? Where's all that noise? Where's all that noise? Where's all that noise? Oh, that's his daddy.
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check.
It all breaks down to, what does this mean to me? What does this event mean to me? How does this event affect my thinking? Affect my way of life?
I think we OD.
That's what me and this nigga do. We pick something and then we ran about it.
My word, can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard. My word, can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard. My word, can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I hit the loot juice. It pulls up in the heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I hit the loot juice. It pulls up in the
Do that dance, baby, do that dance, let's work it out.
I just be shopping and shit, you know, drinking and shit, do a little smoking and shit. To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the middle. To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the center. To greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. Well, that's my motherfucking cue to come on in, and you know how I do it. Where's it at? The shit is all around. I'm a highlight a local brewery. I'm not gonna drink this shit until tomorrow. I drink a little bit of this shit, but this is Surly. This is a local beer. And if you niggas come up here, I will take you to Surly for sure. I don't know. Can we get it in here? This ain't what I'm drinking, though. You already know. But this is a pale ale. This is more of a fruity pale ale. But wanted to show that because we can go to the Surly factory and get some of this shit. But y'all know me, and since y'all know me, and if you watch this motherfucking show, you know what I drink. And when I do drink, I drink Great Lakes Elliott Nest. Oh, so pop them if you got them. Beat the motherfucker up. Let's take care of two birds at one time. And you know, I've got I was gonna show if I had the other glass. They're talking about the Lions putting I don't know if y'all remember when the Lions had their insignia was two stripes. Like it was two stripes right here. I got the glass downstairs. They're talking about putting those on the helmets. That's gonna be kind of interesting. But this is the old 60s Lions glass. And you know, this is some perfect ambrosia. You dig? Look how good that shit looks. I know I poured it sloppy. Oh. Ooh, the perfect pour, as they call it. And you know, oh, listen to that motherfucker. Ooh, it's getting ready. The Luca hookah, so smoke them if you want them. So Bop Gun, defend yourself. Well, who are the party people with me? I know I saw my man PJ Allen, the biggest pimp up in Ohio. And I know I never have to ask him if he controls his bitches, because I know he does.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
And to be here late
You
night.
got to have vision.
I know he has vision being here late night. Too much. And we have Jesus Saved. And to be here this late night, I know you got to have.
You got to have vision.
El Dragon Amaru Khan, what's happening? And I know you definitely got.
You got to have vision.
Beat Buzz. Right, Buzz. Beat Boys, what's happening? And I know you got to have.
You got to have vision.
Now, I guess I'm gonna start off with it. Anybody watch what's her name? Sylvia? What is that? Chocolate? That she put that chick in a submission hole. I don't know if y'all watched the MMA on ESPN. Sylvia put a Holmes, Katie, was it Katie? No, not Katie Holmes, but put Holmes, the ex-champion. She put her in a, like she had her like this, you know, like I remember my ex-wife, I had her like this one time. I was choking this shit, like I put that under and that's why I was doing her the same way that the chick was doing her today. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to see. I didn't watch any of the All-Star game. If y'all like that shit, have at it. I didn't watch any of it. The Tribe of Judah, what's happening? And I know you've got vision.
You got to have vision.
The NBA might as well, the NBA might fail as a product soon. They're not going to keep hyping up these European players. They're definitely not. There's more and more criticism is coming down the pike because the people are seeing already what it is. You know, Charles Barkley said it. Charles Barkley said it best. Charles Barkley said Kevin Garnett struggled. We know Kwame Brown struggled, but they weren't trying to make Kwame Brown succeed. Giannis again. If Giannis was American dude, Giannis would have had a career in the G League. Giannis would have had a career in the G League if he was from America, but he's agenda driven, and that's why they gave him the chance. Said Shotty, this is Shotty's 5th year out the league going on. And you telling me he couldn't have played for that team all these last 5 years with Giannis? A 6'6" stretch, 2 guard, can shoot and defend. But again, you know, they build you up to tear you down. And so that's what we say. I caught the ass end of it. She did a standing submission. Oh, yeah. She was in the corner. I'm telling you, it was just what I did to my ex-wife, my boy's mom. I had her just like the same way. I got that under her neck and was like, and Chick was like, hey. She hit her a couple times. She was like, hey. But it was just, I watched like we went over from just shooting on the hoop, and the hoop is called Goliath. You can look up Goliath's hoops, and we was hooping over my brother's line. I didn't go swim. It was only 78, 79 here, so I didn't swim. My great nephew said he swam for 5 hours, which I'm not surprised. But then he shot with us, but I put it on my son again. He had me 4-0, and I came back and beat him. He had me 4-0. I scored like 8, 9 straight points. Boom, it's wet. It is wet all day. I can always shoot. You know, like I'm the kind of person that I used to have a hoop like at the end of my bed on the wall. And the first thing I did when I woke up was shot a J. And it's still like that. It's like, don't let me shoot if I get some weeks of shooting all the time, I can always shoot. So he complains about my defense. I am 62. I'm 6 foot, about 218. My son is 6'7" or 6'8". About 225, 230. No, I think he just weighed 222. So obviously I can do all this to him. He can't dribble, so I can steal it from him every time. Cause like he just thinks I'm supposed to just let him go to the middle and slam on me. No, I put that forearm in his back and I steal it, I poke it back, and I'm right there with him. And he doesn't like that kind of defense on him. And he can't guard me. I mean, I could literally go every time left-hand bank on him and there's nothing he could do. He could never get over my arm when I go left-handed. He has no defense for that. I could just dribble left-handed and I can get it up so quick he could never defend it. Even my nephew that's going to play college basketball, he couldn't defend the left. I could just go to the hoop easy left because I'm like that. I'm nasty. At 62, I can still hoop. All the gender propaganda. I was talking to my Barbara, and he spoke on the hype of these players, and they can't even shoot most shots. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I play. Oh yeah, you taking all this? He's crying. But yeah, exactly, and that's like Tony Parker could not play in the common area. They snuck Tony Parker in where they could play. And what happened to him when he went to Charlotte? A guy who couldn't shoot. Tony Parker couldn't shoot. But again, he gets the opportunity. 6 foot, he was always a defensive liability. Always. At least with Ginobili, they had a little more size. But Tony Parker was, and think about how when LeBron and them, when they lost the last time to Golden State, how they was going at Curry, because they know he couldn't guard anybody. So every time, it was like, no matter when they switched, they went at Curry. You never saw that how they never went at Tony Parker like that. Do you notice that? Patty Mills, they never go at Patty Mills, man. Patty Mills is another dude should have never made it. He's still in the league. How is Patty Mills in the league? He can't guard anybody. All he is a spot-up shooter. And he's not that great a spot-up shooter. But he can't guard anybody. How is he in the league? So you know it's all agenda and propaganda. The NBA, and I'm going to say this. The NBA hates American players. The NBA would be fine with no American players playing in it. They would really be fine. They want to dwindle it down to be 50-50. They want 50% European players because they know they can get that look. That's the best way I can put it. They know that they're not going to get enough of a certain kind of look for American players. So they know that they can always feed and bring the look back. As I said, you have Steph Curry destroy the center position, but then you bring the Joker back. Then you bring in this dude back. You have literally destroyed the center position for American players, but now you want us to, you letting Joker do the 15, 20 dribbles that Barkley used to do. Luka do the same thing. You made a rule against Barkley doing that, but Luka gets to do it. Giannis got to just dribble through everybody, which how long is that believable? Remember, Kwame Leonard just stood in front of him, stopped him at 6'5". He's 6'9". So they couldn't, we wasn't going to believe that forever. And even this week, I made so much fun. I was like, oh, now they're trying to give him a mid-range game. But his jumper was a set shot. Now, I'm going to be the first to say they let American players down too. Zion Williams is the biggest example of that. He's the biggest example of that. Because, again, what did you see in his highlights? None but dunks. No skill in his game. What did you see at Duke? No jumpers. Going to the hoop. Not a complete player. Not a complete player at all. And they've had to show this dude how to run. I mean, I've been looking for that video to want to find that dude on the half-court hoop. He ran on the inside of his feet. That's what they're worried about. This dude don't even know how to run. He was not taught how to run. And that's how they fail children. Instead of working a child out to enhance all their abilities. And it's like Giannis is a prime example. They did not work on his game at all. You can see what they emphasize. We're going to just let you just stampede to the hoop. We'll get away with it for a couple years. You just stampede for the hoop, and that's all we got. Just stampede to the hoop. We're going to let that go. Everybody get out your way. Like I said, we'll win Wemby's second game. And you see the highlight. He had 28 points in the second game. You split that by 2, and it's like 18 a game. But he didn't do nothing that first game when they was double teaming him and a lot more physical. And everybody's saying now the physicality is going to be tough from him. They hid Joe Bear in the G League till he got bigger. So, I don't know. Zill has no skill, just, athletic ability. I agree. One of the European leagues are ESPN. Really? Wow. Them dudes fizzled out. Tony Parker and Patty Mills both ain't good on other teams. No, that's right. That's right. That teardrop saved him, or it was a magnet. It was definitely magnets. What do you think about Trae Young? Trae Young. Now, I've said the same thing about Trae Young, and this is what it is. Trae Young was chosen. Again, Lobo had a young man, and what is this channel? Let me look at his channel. But Trae Young, again, his name, his birth all add up, but Trae Young was groomed by LeBron. He was in basketball camps. And they had LeBron, they was talking about Trae Young, and LeBron said, Trae already got his money. Trae has already got his money. That's what LeBron said. Trae has already got his money. So he was under LeBron's umbrella from a very young age. Now, remember his career. His first 5 games at Oklahoma, he was the college version of Steph. For 5 games, his first 5 games at Oklahoma, he was the college version of Steph. But then what happened the rest of the season? They turned the hoop off. They turned the hoop off on him. And the rest of their season, I think they went something like 5-15, and they shouldn't have made the tournament, but his name. So he's a person that without basket manipulation, he does have quick speed, he does have handles. But again, a defensive liability. He's not matching up at 6 foot on, you got guards 6'7", 6'8". Who's he matching up with on defense? We know his outside shots. Look at some of my old videos where he's fouled on purpose by Giannis. And so we see a lot of that with his game. But right now, Atlanta just gave that other boy, Mitchell, the dude who came from San Antonio, they just gave him money. So you can see they pushing him out. You can see who was the number 1 on that team. It was that other guard that came from San Antonio, the skinny dude. He's a better player. Trae's very limited. Again, if you ain't launching and you're more of a score first point guard, your game is limited. So I think he's a very limited player. Hey, Jeffrey Lane, what's happening? And I know to be up late this night, you definitely got to have
vision.
You could see Bird. Oh yeah, Bird. Bird. Like it's like Jackie McClellan, and I got a book back here of Magic and Bird. It's a very good read. Magic and Bird were almost raised identical. And people forget that Larry Bird's daddy was in World War II and killed himself. And some kind of insurance policy he had, I think the family still got paid. And like just an interesting story that's very relatable. He would say, they didn't have a dishwasher, or excuse me, they didn't have a washing machine. They had it looks like they didn't have a dryer in their house, but they had a washing machine, but they had to take the clothes to get dried. So they would wash the clothes at home, then they had to go to the laundromat to dry them. And there was a park across the street, and Larry Bird's brother could shoot. Again, people forget his brothers is both 6'4", 6'5", and could shoot. But his brothers, again, Indiana, people forget Indiana was the greatest basketball state. I mean, if you look at just pure basketball, there wasn't a better basketball state than Indiana. And we can go back to Hoosiers, but even Hoosiers is an interesting story because when you get into Crispus Attucks High School, where Oscar Robertson came out of, it shows Indiana only had one champion. So you have 300 schools, no matter how many, and that's why Hoosiers is an interesting story because they only had 200 students. You going against schools with 1,000, 1,500. Everybody plays everybody, and so that's why you had the top. But his brothers, my point, and his brothers played. Larry Bird's brothers was in gyms with other brothers and pick up in semi-pro leagues. So Larry was used to the shit talking, playing against brothers, talking shit, because he grew up in a basketball mecca. Where he was challenged all the time. And Magic's story about him, the first time they got to play against him was, I think, right after '78. They was on some Pan Am team, and Joe B. Hall was the coach, and so Goose Gossage was his name. There was the MVP of the '78 tournament when they beat Duke. Kentucky beat Duke, and he had something like 51, and Magic and Bird was killing them. And they wasn't letting them play that often, but there's one highlight you can see where they kind of throw the ball back and forth to each other. You can see the skill set. They don't show the whole game, which is a shame. But if you can see the whole game, because right now all I've been able to find highlights. But if you watch the highlights of DePaul against Indiana State, even the highlights is good. And remember, this is Terry Cummings wasn't there. We were seniors in high school. But Mark Aguirre was on that team, and Mark Aguirre helped take that DePaul team to the Final Four. And Larry Bird put on the show that game. I mean, the championship game, they just was outmatched. They had, they finally played against, they was outmatched. Kessler, and Magic, I mean, they couldn't do nothing. And then they had Charles, all dudes, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", double, triple teaming Larry Bird, because that's all they really had. And so they was cutting off his outlets of his passes because they was double teaming, triple teaming him, and then sloughing off and cutting on them cuts. Because if you looked at their offense, they was making a lot of cuts to the back, cuts to the rim. Larry would be double teamed and somebody would cut. And Michigan State cut all that out. So Larry had nowhere to do to the ball but try to score on double teams. But his greatest college game to me was that game against DePaul. Larry showed out. Larry put it on some dudes that could hoop. I mean, he really did. And again, DePaul didn't have the talent that Michigan State had, so they had to play him straight up. And you see that they couldn't play him straight up. And again, Mark Aguirre is on the other team, who was a freshman All-American that year. And so, they had a great team in Indiana. And it's just too much Larry Bird. Because they really couldn't afford to double team him because they didn't have the personnel to double team him. So that's a great game. So yeah, Larry Bird, I've said that the tragedy of Larry Bird is basically he transferred and they penalized him. And that's why when people ask me, is it good now you're not penalized for transferring? I remember Marcus Dupree, they wanted to penalize him 2 years because he quit in the beginning of a season. So they was going to make him sit out 2 seasons if he would have stayed in college. But that's what hurt Larry Bird, though, because he went into the league a little older, and he only really had 5 effective seasons. And I know I call him cheap, but he bought all the equipment, and he paved his mother's driveway, and he hurt his back, and that's what ruined his career. Really, that's what ruined his effectiveness. Is after that back injury, and he liked doing the work. He was frugal, but there's some times where you got the bread. But skill wise, he was probably. I'm not gonna say he's the greatest European player because that takes away from Pistol Pete, far as individual skill. I just don't think he had more success than Pistol Pete. He wasn't better skill wise than Pistol Pete. He played with better players. Pistol Pete never really played with good players. Skill wise, though, Pistol Pete probably was the best skilled European player ever, was Pistol Pete. Again, he didn't have the greatest success. A lot of people say, well, Bob Cousy won more games. John Havlicek won more games. They didn't have better skills. And so I would say Larry Bird is probably number 2 skill-wise. Because, again, Pistol Pete's dribbling drills, everybody still does today. The drills that you do for ball handling, I would say 75% come from Pistol Pete. So I say he's probably the most skilled. And now, again, he's not the greatest winner. But I'm talking about skill-wise, it's hard to match, any other European to match another point guard at 6'5". Who? You can't say Bob Cousy. Somewhere in here, I got the greatest players, 50 players, but Bob Cousy may have won more, but he wasn't more skilled. That's why I put Pistol Pete before Larry Bird. Now, Larry Bird won more, but Larry Bird did not have overall better skill. And that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying skill-wise, Pistol Pete had the best skill of all time as far as European players. Now, I even give Pistol Pete the best ball handler, period, even over Isaiah. I would say Isaiah is second to Pistol Pete in overall ball handling skills because, again, you still do what Pistol Pete does today. They still practice what he practiced today. And so if that puts me, if there's like they're trying to say Steph is the greatest shooter, and I'm going to prove that he's not. I've already found the information. I can prove that he's not the greatest shooter of all time. But again, if you want to say, you want to set him there, of the greatest of one thing, the greatest ball handler is by far Pistol Pete, because again, no one else does anybody else's drills but the drills he invented. So, never take the jab. What's happening?
Got to have vision.
I think Jeffrey Lane. Did I say what's happening to you, Jeffrey Lane? I'm gonna do it again if I didn't.
Got to have vision.
Well, John Stockton is interesting because he played in the only area he could play in. And he was matched up with the perfect guy to run the pick and roll. And where Charles Barkley, and this was the difference between Malone and Barkley. Malone tended to want to fall off dudes and shoot jumpers. But when he was in the pick and roll, he would go to the hoop. Where Barkley would take 1,000 dribbles and nobody could stop him. And what's interesting about Barkley and the way they changed the rules, he's still taking all those 15, 20 dribbles. He still did it within 24 seconds. So Barkley, there was no one could stop him. I mean, literally, Barkley they'd clear out one side. It didn't matter who was on him, not Scottie Pippen. No one stopped Barkley. And that's why they changed the rules. Because he could literally get inside on anybody. Perfect short-range game. Perfect short-range game. Karl Malone, on the other hand, was better because Karl Malone one-on-one, he gonna shoot mid-range on you. But in the pick and roll, that's when he's driving. And so he's only got to take 1 or 2 dribbles. And Stockton, see, this is the difference between Stockton and Patty Mills. Stockton had a toughness where he gave up his body. He tried to fight through picks. He really was, he'll hold your jersey. He'll pinch you. I mean, this dude, he really battled on defense. And he was known as, kind of a dirty player. But again, at his size, he's reckless on defense and make motherfuckers be like, hey, I ain't trying to get my ribs broke because this dude coming hard at me for a pick. So I love this game. I really love this game. For what he had, he got the most out of what he had. Now, again, was he put in that position because he was a European? Yes. American European? Yes. He again, you could see where they groomed him. They put him on the dream team. They put Isaiah off and put Stockton, despite Stockton being hurt. Remember, John Stockton was hurt on the dream team. And he still went over Isaiah. But I liked him. Steve Kerr Steve Kerr is another cat that really shouldn't have got the opportunity. Steve Kerr was hurt. Remember, Steve Kerr got hurt in high school. He got hurt in college. He was damaged goods going into the league, but we know why Steve Kerr made the league. Let's not forget who Steve Kerr's daddy was. Remember, Steve Kerr's dad was assassinated in Iran when they took the hostages. So do you see that there? Do you see Steve Kerr's daddy sacrificed for Steve Kerr's his career? You know that about history. When they took the hostages in Iran, the Ayatollah and shit, they killed his daddy because his daddy was president of the university, probably CIA. So that was a sacrifice. So, you know, when Steve Kerr was, you knew he was going to get propelled. You just knew it. So Kerr wasn't near as good as John Stockton. Not near as good. Not near as good. Tony Kukoc. You know, and I've told that story. You know, I've met him, and I met him well enough for a number of years to speak to him. And I told you, you know, I've told the story before where I was going to beat his ass. I really was going to beat his ass in the gym. So I'll tell the story again. I don't mind telling the story, but I was going to beat his ass in the gym. His son was playing. His son was in 4th or 5th grade. And one boy, I've said this before, one boy would power dribble every time. He had power dribble. That's trap. You can't do that. You can't do this. That's double dribble. And I caught a call like that. I don't know if it was that call. And I hear this foreign voice saying, that is not, that it was like a travel or something. It was a crucial point in the game because it was very close. And I hear a voice behind me. He's like, that is not. So I'm not paying no attention. I run down the other end. And then I go down the other end and play a stop. And this motherfucker's right there. And he was like talking to me. He wasn't traveling. So I was about to give him that business. So I like walked up on him, started squaring up. I was about to beat his ass. I mean, I really was about to beat that motherfucker's ass. And the coaches and shit jumped in. His coach jumped in and they apologized, but I was about to beat that motherfucker's ass. And what was that? I've told this story. His wife was one of the first people where you knew she didn't have a fake purse. You know, that Gucci purse wasn't fake. You know, they was coming in there. And I've told his story before is this was the worst of him is he was, you know, when they came from them other countries, they don't shower and shit. And if you go them years, you know, your shit gets to smelling. And he was a dude like that. That was the biggest, when he came in, that was the biggest thing knock on him is the way he smelled. Nobody wanted to be around that motherfucker. He smelled so bad. Even other teams was like, what is wrong? So that was the biggest knock on Tony. Now his athletic ability, yeah. Should he have got the opportunity? It doesn't really seem like it. They wanted you to think he was another Magic because of his size is 6'10", 6'11", but like even the shot he beats when Scottie Pippen goes out and sits down, that shot's manipulated. I think on this channel I made a video about it. It might have been my Lados channel, but I think you can find that on this channel to show you when Kukoc wins the playoff game with Scottie Pippen, that shot's manipulated. So when was he effective? He really wasn't ever effective. He was at 6'10", he was a liability on defense. Couldn't guard anybody, very slow. He was the opposite, where Magic easily fit into guarding the power forward. People forget how big Magic is. Magic's 6'9". People forget how big he is. So when Magic, even though Magic played 1, Magic could guard a 3 or a 4. So it's easy to throw in Cooper at small forward because Cooper could guard the 1 or the 2, and you could slide Magic back to guard the 3 or the 4. And Byron Scott's guarding the 1. Where Tony Kukoc couldn't do that. He wasn't that. He couldn't guard a dude 6'4", 6'5". He couldn't guard the point guard. So then he's on a wing where he's overmatched because the smaller 3 is going by. If you put him on the power forward at damn near his height, I mean, there's nowhere he's not playing defense. So he wasn't. I don't know. Marshallonis was another dude. You know, Bill Walton said how great he was before he came over. He was hurt the whole time he was here. He was just 7, whatever, not very effective. Or not Marshallonis, but the one that plays for Portland now. Then his son, the one that went to Gonzaga. I can't think of his name. Sabonis was what here when he came here? He was hurt when he came here. And yet they let him play in the league all them years and put him in the Hall of Fame. Never won a championship, but he was a dude that was damaged goods. That's how bad and how thirsty he was to get these foreigners over here because, you know, they look a European American. That's the look, you know, they want. They want the European American look. They don't want to accept the European Americans. They want the Europeans, and not the American Europeans because they don't promote them anymore. And I should make a video over that where they stopped promoting European American players. They don't get the opportunities. They get cut, I mean, just maybe even quicker than the brothers. And not even given the G League like times. And it can't be that these dudes, their skill set is not that great. Like in the merger, if you look at where the league became all black in 77, 78, that made no sense. Because if you look at the ABA and the NBA leading up to that point, it wasn't like that. And I'll argue with anybody that the skill set between the two groups was not that great. To say that the Europeans shouldn't be on any team that's no. That American Europeans, that the talent fell. You look at the last couple years of the ABA and you look at the player rosters. You see an equal amount. So you telling me the next year that there ain't none of them that can still play? There's got to be 3-4 years until Larry Bird get in the league. Kevin McHale, but look at how they thinned them out. They thinned them out. They really did thin them out. I mean, you had to be outstanding. Danny Ainge, Kevin McHale. But what other names is really out there? I mean, you can see where they started pushing American Europeans out of the league. And started bringing them people that they didn't even, you know, that pushed them out. And that puts them over it, which is very odd because they don't push American Europeans anymore. There's no great European hope or great white hope as they call it. So, definitely be funky. Jason Williams, you know, I don't know. I was never big on him. I'll say that I thought Scott Skiles was better than Jason Williams. And Scott Skiles still has a record for 31 assists in a game. I thought Scott Skiles far better than Jason Williams. That's what I'll say about Jason Williams. I thought Scott Skiles was better. And he has his story from the school he went to shoot down the state of Indiana where motherfuckers could hoop. I mean, his case was Scott Skiles' story was way better than Huger's. He came from a school of about 100, 200 people and shot down the whole state of Indiana. And then went into Michigan State and he was rowdy. I mean, he was a cool young dude. He really was. Starting to get hot. I'm going to turn my air conditioner. It ain't that hot outside, so the air ain't kicking on as much. There we go. Yeah, but Scott Skiles was cool. He was a rowdy bug. I partied with him a little bit. Cause some of my boys knew him, and I always had the bud, and so he was cool. Scott Skiles was cool, but I thought Scott Skiles was better than Jason Williams. Liability. Jason Williams was a liability on defense. Couldn't guard anybody. Really more of a scoring point guard than passing. I mean, I know he modified his game, but his game was more scoring. I don't know. He just didn't really make the team better. You know, he really didn't make the team better. I mean, it was like you have to make plays at certain points of the game and not just one or two highlights a game. You really got to make plays during the game. And he just didn't make enough plays to me. That's how I look at him. He didn't make enough plays that was effective plays. And yes, it's all scripted, but he appeared to just not be effective when they really needed times to be effective. He wasn't an effective player. That's what I'll say about him. But yeah, what's happening, Jamar?
You got to have vision.
I don't know. I mean, if you eat right, you don't really need to eat deodorant, but man, them dudes, like he was, you know, it was, you know, European dudes coming, but that was the really knock on him is how bad he smelled. Yeah. I mean, you had to really be in the games and just hearing people talk, and it was like, but his woman was even like that. I mean, they just was some funky smelling people, and it took them a couple years to get that funk off them. And I said, I'll tell, again, I did so many games where I was seeing him again and again. Like we did, Stacey King seemed like he had children that was like a year or two apart. So I get, they kept paying, our tournaments and stuff. So I was seeing him all the time, and he was cool with me after that. He's like, the next time I came across him, he apologized. I mean, he really walked up to me, him and his wife. His wife kind of led him over. They apologized. Like, I'm sorry, man. You know how we get emotional. I'm like, it's okay. And so every time he would see me after that, he would always speak to me. He's like, I'm sitting, because the last time I saw him, they had got some chairs. They were sitting. It's like, I'm not getting up. We gonna sit over here the whole game. I'm like, it's cool, man. So it wasn't like, I saw him every time, wanted to beat his ass. No, it was just that one moment, like, how people get. Yeah, Weber and Bibby. No, I do not think Jason Williams played with Weber. I think he played with Bibby, but I don't think he played with Weber, but we might, because I don't think he was on that team that, they cheated for the Lakers to win. It was no doubt about that. They cheated because remember they called a foul on Rashad Wallace just for looking at Steve Chavy. No, it was what was his name? His daddy was a ref too. It wasn't Chavy, but it was like he called it because dude looked at it. He's like, he's trying to intimidate me by his look, so it's a tech. And the league went with it. Kobe wasn't playing well. Shaq wasn't playing well. And they really should have lost, but they didn't want to push the small market. Yeah, but that was one of the worst. Like, that was like that's basketball's tuck rule. If you ever want to see a cheating game, watch that series. That is a cheating series where they say Kobe and Shaq was so great, and I've said before, the one person that Shaq couldn't guard was Tim. He couldn't guard Tim. Tim would just. Them years, I mean, I think it was 99. Tim Duncan just destroyed Shaq. I mean, he literally destroyed him. Like nothing Shaq could do on defense. And it's like it had Shaq so shook on defense, he wasn't making his offensive impact. Because Tim Duncan was like embarrassing him. It was years where he really embarrassed Shaq. I mean, Shaq talks about how blocking. It's them years Tim Duncan rolled over him, he rolled over him. And I remember it was like Tim Duncan, remember Kevin Garnett hated Tim Duncan. So he would talk shit. I listened to him here. I was at a playoff game here, listening to him talk shit. Tim Duncan wouldn't say shit and just destroyed the Timberwolves and Kevin Garnett. I mean, he destroyed them. And they had Spreewell. They had E.T. What's E.T.'s coaching now? He got the ETIs playing with Houston. Sam Cassell. That's when the Timberwolves had a good team. But they wasn't good enough. They weren't good enough. Tim Duncan destroyed Garnett. And then he went to the finals and destroyed Shaq. I mean, he went to Western Conference Finals and destroyed Shaq. So that was one player that Shaq did not match up well with. Because Tim Duncan, again, had the luxury of playing forward most of his career. He was the truth. When they say he might have been the best powered forward, I'm not seeing a lot of argument in that. Tim Duncan is probably the best power forward of all time. And for him to destroy Shaq and everybody else, he destroyed Ben Wallace. He destroyed that Detroit team too. He destroyed them too. So, Tim Duncan is probably the best power forward. I would damn near. I guess my only argument is Kevin McHale. Well, Kevin McHale only won 3 titles, and he was never MVP. So that was the only person that might be close. But as far as a pure power forward, and I put Karl Malone, his game. Even though maybe he was listed as a power forward, his game really was small forward kind of game. If you really looked at his overall game, I don't know where Karl Malone would have been. Like the Dream Team, Karl Malone wasn't dominant because they didn't run the offense through him. The other players could be dominant because they didn't need the offense to. That's the difference. If you look at how, like Barkley was the most dominant player in that Olympics, really. If you look at points wise, it was Barkley. Because Barkley, again, could operate, he didn't need a system, Karl Malone needed a system to be effective. He really didn't play well where it wasn't geared for him to get the ball. He wasn't a good, good spontaneous player. But, look at the stats. Charles Barkley dominated the Dream Team. He was the best player stat-wise. And we know, Michael Jordan, they was beating teams and they sat a lot, but Barkley was the most dominant of the Dream Team. Yeah, they 100% cheated him. Yeah, they definitely did. Okay, Williams played with Weber. They replaced Williams with Bibby. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Thank you, Jamar. I didn't know that. I don't quite remember. Kobe killed the Spurs, not Shaq. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Tony Campbell was nice. Now, I met Tony, several times. Tony was nice. Tony was that odd size. What, 6'4"-ish, 6'5"-ish, left-hand cat. He was nice. He was nice. I rate Duncan as a center. See, I put him as a forward. I put him as a forward. Because that's who he went up against. He went up against mostly forwards. They always had somebody else in there for him. Of course, when you put him with David Robertson, I mean, it was hard to deal with them. But he killed everybody. I definitely, even if you put him over at center, I still put him over Hakeem. I would put Tim Duncan over Hakeem. Because Hakeem really only had a 2-year run. What was his run? 2 years. 2-year run. That's really his effectiveness was only 2 years. They again, remember Ralph Sampson throwing the ball over his head. That Laker team would have beat the Celtics. It would have been hard for them to script the Celtics to win that. That's why it came to that. They had the magnets ready, and Ralph just threw it over his shoulder and magnet in, and it beats the Lakers. That better Laker team. That was a good Laker team. So I put Hakeem and Ralph Sampson in the finals, but they wasn't effective. They wasn't going to beat Larry Bird and them. That was the weaker team. And I said, Wemby ain't going to be good as Ralph Sampson because he has not played. Because again, going to college and playing at the highest American level, it's good. Now, Ralph Sampson should have went to the Lakers after his sophomore year. The Lakers had his rights, and he played another year. Matter of fact, I think it was after his junior year. Ralph Sampson could have went to the Lakers. And he decided to stay in college. And they penalized him for that. They penalized him because he should have went to the Lakers. And the Lakers would have kept rolling, And again, we can get into, if Len Bias wouldn't have died, Reggie Lewis, all them would have played together. Wouldn't have mattered that Larry Bird got older because Len Bias was the real deal. But we never know. Top 5 center. Well, I'll say skill-wise, if we put Tim Duncan as center, offensive-wise, kills Bill Russell. You can't even rate them the same. Now, rebound-wise, Bill Russell probably had the advantage. Shot blocking-wise, that's why it's hard for me to put him at a center because a center shot blocks. Tim Duncan was never really a big shot blocker, so it's kind of hard for me to put him at center. But offensive-wise, he was better than Bill Russell. No, hands down. Defensive-wise, he had a pretty decent team behind him, so we don't know. He really wasn't dominant defensively where Bill Russell was. Again, we can't really match him up with Wilt. That's unfair. To put Tim Duncan with Wilt, that's not fair at all. I mean, it's really not a good comparison. Wilt would get the nod there because Wilt just has so many more skills, and again, Wilt was probably a better passer. So now being a center, Hakeem, Tim Duncan, I would give it to Tim Duncan over Hakeem. He had more tools to me. But again, like Hakeem or David Robertson. Who do you put? Hakeem or David Robertson? Who do you put above who? Do you put Hakeem above David Robertson, and why? Why would he be above David Robertson? I don't know that he would. So I don't know. I keep Tim Duncan as a 4. I keep him as a 4. I have a question. How would you change your survival skills if you weren't going up against a military invasion but an alien invasion? Well, I mean, Well, you have to understand what an invasion means. An invasion means they know all your weaknesses. They know what you need to survive. And so, I mean, very simple things is they're going to cut off water. They're going to cut off food. They're going to cut off power. I mean, how much survival skills can you have once those things are cut off? And like me up here, where it's just rabbits and maybe birds every once in a while. I mean, people in the winter, it'd be easy to wipe people out in the winter because if you take away those things, and we get one of them blizzards up here, and we can't get the food, I mean, it'd be easy to bother us. Now we have woods here in Minnesota that people can go deep in and get lost, but again, you gotta have everything set up to even survive in that. So the aliens is them. I've said that over and over again. The aliens have been here so long that they're babies. They're not aliens. They's born in on whatever this is. So I don't even know if you'd call the children aliens anymore because they've been here so long. They've been cooperating. You know, these non-humans been cooperating. So I don't know. I don't know how. Again, true military law could starve everybody out. Just like we was talking about the Devil's Bowl. You know, the Devil's Punch Bowl, just how they just surrounded these people and starved them out. They escape, you take them back, and they starved everybody out. Give them less than minimum food and let disease and hunger kill people. And within a year, they killed 20,000 people. So massively, you could do that. You cut off those resources. Because true military law, what people don't understand is that means the military's on every block, which, you know, they're going to be stretched pretty thin. But that's what. So it's a fantasy really to think that that could be survivable, because they put the hammer down, and mass starvation is going to come fairly quickly. So no matter who they say does it, that could come very quickly. They could starve the country out. Would your outlook different against the alien threat more than the human threat? I think it would be the same. It would come from the same thing. You know, I think it's the same thing. It's the humans working with whatever. Like I said, you know, you guys want to call this thing that's the Mai, is you want to give it another name, because again, if you don't know its name, you can't be equal to it, or you can't sit next to it if you don't know its name. So if you call it what it wants to be called instead of calling it the Mai, you give it more power. And so it's the same thing. It's all of it working together, whatever technology, because it's, and again, it's ancient technology that we know there was different skills throughout history. So to just think that, you know, this magic that's being used now is the only magic, that's, you know, we know that's not correct. And so now it's just a magic being done that, you know, unfortunately, we don't have any way to counter this magic, because that's all it is. It's magic. It is not technology, it is magic. And it is a form of magic. Unfortunately, we don't have people strong enough to repel it. And until those skills come, whenever they come, that's how it's going to be repelled. Hybrids, they could be. I see some of the guys debate this. Who is better, Kevin or Dirk? Ooh, Kevin or Dirk? As a scorer, Dirk as a scorer. I mean, Dirk is top 10 scoring all time. And I'm not sure Garnett is not top 10. Dirk was a better scorer. But what my knock on Dirk was, even though he scored, he didn't really rebound. The years, like the years leading up to the championship, he became a better rebounder. Kevin was a better all-round player. Kevin tried to make a difference on defense. And I saw a lot of Kevin play. You know, I was living here. I went to, when they first brought him here, his first, what do you call it? When they brought him here and introduced him. I was at the motherfucking press conference. That's what I'm looking for. I was down at the press conference. So I got to see him play a lot. He lived not far from where one of my best friends lived. Lived in the same, it wasn't even, it was just apartments. It was still apartments we used to be living in. So I say he was an all-round better player, but Dirk was a better scorer. But Garnett was a better all-round player because he tried on defense. Dirk didn't really try. At 7 foot, he didn't really try on defense. Again, it wasn't until the end of his career, I mean, like the championship years, were they competitive, And remember, that's one team that they won a championship, didn't even make the playoffs the next year. That's how they had to fix it. It wasn't, you couldn't believe that team. I mean, he wasn't. I mean, that was like the way they lost to the Heat. You saw how fixed that was. Dwayne Wade getting 1,000 free throws to win the game. Like the whole game was just Dwayne Wade shooting free throws. Every second he was on the free throw line. So we know that Dallas had a decent team that could have beat that team. But they wanted to prop Shaq up and, of course, put Dwayne Wade in there. But yeah, that's Garnett was a better all-round player, better rebounder, better defender. Dirk was the better scorer, and Dirk ended up having a better team. And again, they was the 1-year winner, which I thought was very fixed. But Dirk fires a scorer. You got to give it to him. He was one of the Europeans that really, like everybody uses that shot, fall away 1 foot. Everybody uses that shot because it's hard to defend. A 7-footer that's falling away, that's hard to defend. And Garnett uses that shot. A lot of bigger dudes now use that shot, the 1 foot fall away. Great shot. It's almost, that was one of the, if you look at the past 20 years, one of the most unstoppable shots. That's one of the top ones. That shot was just as effective as Kareem's hook, as unstoppable. You got to give it to him. I think he scored something like 27,000 points. So, you got to give it to him as a scorer. You got to give it to him. And to create a shot, like no one does hooks like Kareem did. Everybody jump hooks now. But bigger dudes use Dirk's shot. So that shows the effectiveness of it. Where people imitate that still to this day, shows his effectiveness as a scorer. But remember, him and Garnett both only got 1 championship. So, and he scored more points than Garnett. When you go out, how people do you think are not human? I believe at least 1 to 7 people are not human. About the GOAT. What GOAT? You got to give me some more than the GOAT. So it's my. I'm guessing my. Yeah, it's spelled the way Stinson spells it. Stinson smells it M-I, but it's pronounced M-Y. That's how they pronounce it. But he spells it. If you get it out of Stinson's book, and I still cannot find my copy, my other copy of the Lost Book of Iniki. It's in there somewhere because it has the definitions in the back. And I know I read it in this, but again, it's like a couple hundred books. I got to go through to find it. But yeah, it's still called the my. It's pronounced M-Y, the my instead of the me. I just say that I don't know. It's like, again, they've been here, and I used to, like, people say they have a radar of certain people, a gaydar, but I've used to have a feeling of where I could see non-humans, and it goes off less and less. I would say it goes off less, but the last encounter I really had, they don't care. I mean, they're here, and it's like when I first would feel and see these people, and I've said this many times, when I first would come across people that was non-humans, they got a reaction from me seeing them being non-human, me being able to realize that, and I got a reaction out of it, but not anymore. If I see people and thinking, it's like it's not the same. They don't care. Whatever they are, they don't really care. They don't get tense or nothing anymore. But I can remember 20 years ago, they would like kind of be bothered that somebody could see them and like, shit, what the fuck are you? And so now, not as much. They don't care. They don't care, and it's like they don't care that I have a sensitivity. They don't care. They don't really care. Oh, Earl Manning Gold. Okay. Let me see. Jamar says, I think Garnett was a little better because the gap between the two on defense was way wider than the gap between them on offense. I agree. Because Garnett could give you, what'd he say? 2010, you know how I get down. He could give you that every game, if not 2020. Dirk wasn't giving you 2020. He wasn't a very good rebound. Manning Goat, again, I read the article. The best reported dunk of all time comes from Earl, where he did 2 360s Like he takes off. He's a junior in high school, but he's playing in a pickup game. He takes off around the free throw area. The first guy comes up. Earl spins off him in the air. Earl's still going up. The second guy defends him. Earl spins off him, and while coming down, he dunks it. So he does 2 360s on dudes and then dunks it. So he stayed in the air that long. Jabbar said he was the best player that didn't make it he ever played against. Again, I don't think it's quite true the way they did it in the movie. They showed that he was the first non-pro to play in the Rucker League. I think it was others that was high school players I think Connie played in the Rucker League out of high school too. So Earl really, because Connie was older than Earl. Earl would have been closer to Jabbar's age. Connie was quite a bit older. Earl should have graduated. If Earl would have stayed at, what did he go to? Hampton Institute for 1 year. Jumping ability, it appears like he had it. Doesn't appear like he had all-around game. It's hard to judge him. So it's hard to judge him on just street ball cred. Connie Hawkins put in the work on these other leagues and was a street ball star. Earl got cut from the Utah, what was the ABA team? The Utah Stars, because he was a heroin addict. He got a trial with the Utah Stars. He made the team. He had a physical. They saw that he was a junkie and they cut him. So there's not a lot on him other than the single plays. Connie Hawkins said he was also one of the ones that could touch the top of the backboard at 6'1". Jackie, what was there? I was just reading about Jackie Jackson, jumping Jackie Jackson, the one that pinned Wilt shit. Like it's a book back called File, and Wilt goes up, and I thought it was Minigo, but it was really this Jackie jumping Jackie Jackson, I think his name. He pins Wilt shit, and then Wilt dunks 10 in a row. Wilt actually comes down and dunks 10 in a row on him in a Rucker game. So I mean, it's 800 stories. Like I talk about Tim Reed out of Battle Creek, Michigan. I don't think Manny Goat was that much greater than him. And I watched Tim Reed score 100 points at a tournament on one game. I mean, Tim would give you 100 in one game, and then the next game he played a couple hours, he'd give you 60. I mean, Tim was a lot better player than I think Manny Goat, and a bigger guy. I mean, Tim was Bonzi Wells. And I mean, Tim literally, too bad he didn't really get his opportunity because Tim was shooting 30 feet, consistently hitting. He was Bonzi Wells size. He wasn't no little dude. And he was the of all the people I played, he could literally be he was the first person I've seen where 5 people pressed him and he'd get through it. He was that strong. And again, he didn't get the opportunity. So I can't see Minigo being that much better than him. So it's a lot of million stories. You know, it's a million stories out there, dudes that just didn't get the opportunity for one way or another. I talk about Rashad Vaughn, Shotty Vaughn. I mean, McDonald All-American, plays Freshman of the Year in the WAC conference, UNLV, gets drafted. I think he was the 15th pick, so he's out of the lottery. But he got picked before Trey Jones. He got picked before Ty Jones. Ty Jones was the 32nd pick. He was the last pick in that draft. And Ty Jones just went to Washington. And last I know, Rashad is playing somewhere overseas. He was in Turkey last I knew. Make that make sense. Ty is only 6 foot. And I found out here, the Pro-Am I used to play in I guess that was in the 90s. A dude named Howard Pulley used to operate it. I guess Ty Jones now operates the Pro-Am here. So I've been trying to find when the games was. Because I asked my nephew, was he playing? And he was like, because my nephew played under Ty's traveling team when he was, younger. And, but Ty, so I got to find out where the games are, and I'll try to show the games are. Oh, I got some shit to show y'all tonight. Man, it is, let's see. When they say 8 million stories, it is definitely 8 million stories, but here we go. It'll be on this. Here we go. This is the start of it. This is the start. And
I think I can find some earlier ones, but here we go.
Developments tonight in a shooting that left one Fargo officer dead and 2 others in critical condition. We're now learning the officer who was killed was a Minnesota native and member of the National Guard. 23-year-old officer Jake Wallin was killed in the shooting. Wallin was from St. Michael and was sworn in as an officer just this past April. He was in field training at the time of the deadly shooting. 2 other officers were also critically injured and remain in the hospital in critical but stable condition. A 4th officer is on paid leave after shooting and killing the suspect.
Our condolences, our heartfelt sympathies go out to Jake Wallin's family, his friends. Please keep all of them in your thoughts and prayers in the days going forward as we prepare to properly honor him in the future.
Police say officers responding to a crash in South Fargo Friday night when
Okay, Fargo is in North Dakota, and look at this pour. Look at this pour. Look at this pour. That's algae all on this trailer because they're too poor to get it cleaned off. But look at this pour. This is in Fargo. This is about 5 hours northwest of me.
Police say officers responding to a crash in South Fargo Friday night when 37-year-old Mohammed Barakat started firing at officers and firefighters. A 25-year-old woman was also shot and has serious injuries. Barakat was shot by police and later died at the hospital. The FBI is working with state authorities to investigate the shooting.
Oh, yeah, I want to play this story, too. I talked about him.
Following some breaking news that we want to bring to you here. Going to pull up a picture of the suspect out of Pennsylvania, the escaped fugitive. We're learning that
they caught this motherfucker.
Taken into custody. Michael Burham has been taken into custody by Pennsylvania State Police. Fox News just learning this information. State police are expected to release more details later this evening. Now, Burham, who's an Army veteran with survivalist and firearms training, was being held on kidnapping and related charges and is also suspected of murder and rape in New York in an interstate crime spree that ended in his arrest in South Carolina after a previous manhunt in May. He made his way through the jail's gym to the rooftop on July 6th, where he was able to climb down with a rope made from bed sheets. He then snuck off in a denim jacket and jail-issued orange striped jumpsuit and matching Crocs around 11:20 p.m. on that evening. He may have changed his clothes along the way with more than 100.
So they caught this nigga. They caught that nigga. He'd been escaped for a couple days.
New developments tonight in a
Okay, but I want to catch, let's see, this one was more about, let me see if I can get any more. 7 hours ago. Yeah, this is a little more about this guy that got killed today. Or yesterday.
Believable that something like this would happen in our community. Many of us think a lot of stuff can't happen, and this happened.
An update tonight from Fargo police about a shooting yesterday afternoon that killed an officer and critically injured 2 others. Just hours ago, we learned their identities. 23-year-old officer Jake Wallin, a Minnesota native, died. Officers Andrew Dotas and Tyler Haas are still in critical condition. Jennifer Hoff joining us with new information about what happened.
Morgan, the police chief calls this one of the most horrific days in the history of that department, which dates back about 150 years. All 3 officers having ties to Minnesota. Officer Wallin from St. Michael also served in the National Guard and went to school in Alexandria.
I want to be doing something that I can tell myself at the end of the day I made a difference.
The Fargo Police Department releasing video of Officer Jake Wallin, who was shot and killed yesterday. The chief saying he was sworn in just 3 months ago. From St. Michael, the 23-year-old also served in the Minnesota National Guard, deploying several times to Afghanistan.
It's hard to fathom. It's unbelievable that something like this would happen in our community.
The chief says a gunman attacked Officer Wallin and 3 others during a routine traffic accident just a few miles from North Dakota State on a busy street in the middle of the day.
No, this is what happened. This is what happened. So officers pull somebody over, and while they're pulling somebody over, this nigga ambushed them. He ambushed them. He had nothing to do with the traffic stop. He was somewhere else, and he started shooting at him. Paso. He ambushed them. And, you know, I'm going to say this. When are police going to stop pulling people over? Because that's what caused this, is them pulling people over. Those days should come to an end. The only time you should get pulled over is if I call 911 and I'm dying in my car. If I'm drunk and I'm reckless to other people. Other than that, there's no reason for you to stop people. Now, again, if it's a school zone and you're going 100 miles an hour, okay. But most of the time, it's money generating. It's like the city of Minneapolis, they don't stop people no more. With the feds taking control, the shit they can stop people for, like you go, you here, you seeing expired plates, years of expired plates. They can't stop you from your air freshener on your mirror. They can't stop you from a broken tail light, because a motorcycle only need one light, right? Car can have two lights. So if my right brake light is out, I still got a left brake light. Motorcycle only has one light. So the only reason they stop people is money generating. And it's a fact that more melanated people get stopped than anybody else. So there's no reason to be stopped. And so I feel sorry for these people, but again, stop stopping people. That power that you had, that money generator, them days gotta come to an end. Because that's what it is. It's money generating. They show us a town, I think it's like on the border of Nebraska and Iowa and Nebraska, where they get millions. Because they say they take money from dope people, and if people are taking a lot of cash to go gamble, they happen to go through that area, they're stealing people money. Stopping people for frivolous things. And so society is saying no more. There's no reason for you to stop me. Remember, that's the sovereign citizens thing. You shouldn't even stop me. Because you're only stopping me. I'm driving safely. So what? I ain't got insurance. So what? My plate is my tags are old. So what? If I am not being reckless and I drive safe, you shouldn't bother me. And that's what's coming. And I feel sorry for these people, but that's what's coming. People are tired of getting stopped just to generate money and not for safety. The guise of safety.
But the chief wouldn't answer questions at a news conference more than 24 hours later about what led up to the shooting, only that the suspect was not involved in the accident that set everything off. A critical incident that also hurt a bystander, shots even hitting a fire truck responding to the scene.
Pulled it out of the trunk of one of the vehicles and started shooting as soon as the cops showed up.
The chief says the two other officers who were shot are in critical but stable condition. Officer Andrew Dotis, a 6-year veteran of the department, and Officer Tyler Hawes, also recently sworn in, graduated from the University of Minnesota Morris.
The first several minutes were very chaotic.
All Europeans.
Officers performed admirably, and I'm very proud of them.
Despite the darkness, the chief thanking the community for its comfort as it mourns such an incredible loss.
I've tried other careers, but I came right back into law enforcement as a career path I wanted to go through.
The scene there, obviously a chaotic one, and putting a stop to the threat was Officer Zachary Robinson here, the chief saying that he shot and killed the suspect and is now on leave, which of course is standard procedure. Robinson was also Officer Wileen's training officer there in the field. And the Minnesota National Guard is confirming that Officer Wileen started as a cannon crewman with them 6 years ago. The Guard saying he lived a life of service and they're grateful for his commitment. We put that full statement at KARE11.com. And also coming up yet tonight, we spoke to Officer Wileen's family, who you'll hear from then.
I don't know if I want to hear from him, but I don't know if I want to hear from his family, but this is what happened in the Great White North, and this went on too, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows about this
tragedy here in our community.
Pretty sure everybody knows about this. This is down in Georgia. Another one
will be brought to. Excuse me. That's responsible for this tragedy here in our community will be brought to justice. We ask that you lift up the families and the victims in your prayers, your thoughts, and that you give them the privacy that they may need to overcome this horrific tragedy. We have full confidence in our law enforcement agency that they will perform their duties and bring this suspect to justice. We're going to have prayer for our entire community, and we're asking that the community had a tragedy that has occurred. Lord, we just thank you, we praise you, and we magnify.
My name is James Turner. I am the Chief of Police for the Hampton Police Department.
Okay. What have we been seeing in the shootings lately? Now, we saw Europeans shooting and Europeans in charge. You know how they've been showing us. I show these videos, these cities just run by brothers and sisters. So these last two stories ain't brothers and sisters, is it? You know, they always want to say, well, you know, you've got your brothers and sisters running, these Democrats running. These last two stories ain't brothers and sisters, are they, y'all? They're not. The Chiefs is not. The Chiefs are European.
First and foremost, the mayor mentioned this is a sad day in Hampton. It's not normal for us, and as a community, we will grieve together. As a police department, we will do everything in our power.
Who is this nigga with the look like he got the crystal meth scar on his face? Who is this nigga? Why is this nigga in the shot? This is the mayor. Who is this nigga right here? Why is this nigga in the shot? What is he? Does he get to speak with the t-shirt on? Who is this nigga and why is he there? And look at the mayor. She's got the, I don't know, like, okay.
Power to ensure that the person is brought to justice. Did we do the pictures?
Pictures? Okay, eyebrows.
You're looking at a picture of Andre Langmore. He was born 11/3/1982.
That looked like Ricky Williams to me. He used to play football for the Dolphins. That's Ricky Williams, baby. Why are you calling Ricky Williams something else? This is Ricky Williams.
Around the time of 10:45 this morning, Mr. Langmore shot and killed 4 residents of the city.
Wait a minute. How old? He was born in 82? Man, this nigga look older than me. Look at me. Man, look at me. Now look at this nigga. This nigga look older than me. God damn, this motherfucker way older than me. Look at this nigga. This nigga was born in 82. You lying motherfuckers. This motherfucker look like he about 80 years old. I'm sorry. Let's go.
Mr. Langmore shot and killed 4 residents of the city of Hampton. All 4 victims are adults. There was 3 males, 1 female. We're not releasing the names of the victims at this time to ensure that the family has time to be notified and for them to grieve in private before it becomes public. I'd like to thank the Henry County Sheriff's Office, Henry County Police Department, Henry County Crime Scene Unit.
Okay, you kissing ass.
Press conference, we did obtain 4 warrants for murder for Mr. Langmore. Those warrants are active. We've taken many steps in getting it out to all necessary law enforcement and to the public.
Okay.
Safety agency.
Who is this nigga? Okay, let's see who this nigga is.
And the Henry County Sheriff's Office, we're going to have him come up and speak about that.
Oh, he's the sheriff. Yo, you knew they had to have a nigga in the face in it to say you guys didn't do your job.
The Henry County Sheriff's Office is now in possession of 4 murder warrants for Mr. Andrew Longmore.
Okay, I like him. He got the t-shirt on. His shit is stiff. I like the brother. I like the shades. I like that all day. Coming here, these motherfuckers. Yeah, niggas, I got my shades on. Fuck you, niggas. I'm just coming and telling like it is. I'm the motherfucking sheriff. I'm wearing shades on you niggas and just take that. You see how, look at the difference. Look at the difference. Frumpy, out of shape. They ain't even got a neck. Ain't got no style. And look at this. Look at this. Look, he just stiff. Look at this shit is just stiff. Oh, I like this brother. Tell us about it. What's happening, brother?
Is now in possession of 4 murder warrants for
He got
Mr.
4 murder
Andrew
warrants.
Longmore. Date of birth,
Date of what now?
11/3/1982.
That other nigga said that.
We're working in conjunction with the GBI, Henry County Police, U.S. Marshal, Henry County Fire, EMA, and every Metro Atlanta police, public safety agency.
You know, when he was in the police academy, he was the most likely to slap a nigga. You know, he got the award for most likely to slap a motherfucker, or pistol whip a nigga.
This is an all hands on deck movement to make sure that we place Mr. Andrew Longmore in custody. The Henry County Sheriff's Office is also offering a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest and apprehension and prosecution of Mr. Longmore.
Okay, tell me the nigga number. I know where Ricky Williams is right now. That nigga live next door to me. You can come. He's at home right now. Give me that 10.
If you see Mr. Longmore, please call 911.
No, I'm not gonna call 911 because somebody else can get that money, baby. I'm coming right to you. I'm gonna have him in chains and I'm gonna bring him to you. You better have my bread. I don't want no motherfucking check. If I come down there and get that nigga, you better give me bread when I bring him in.
Do not approach him because he is known to be armed and dangerous.
Baby, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm Rambo, baby.
Any information with respect to the $10,000 reward and information that would help us in this hunt for Mr. Longmore, please call Crime Stoppers.
Man, fuck Crime Stoppers.
Time is still early in the investigation.
How many crime scenes were there?
We had at least 4 crime scenes that we're still actively investigating.
So he popped 4 people in 4 different places. Okay.
What happened there in the neighborhood? In one house, multiple houses? Can you explain a little bit about what you're investigating?
Just the four homicides.
Like, why doesn't he have a neck? What happened to this young man? He ain't that old. This dude look like is he 40, but no neck? He's just like, they stuck a head down in there. They like, well, he didn't really need a neck. It's kind of hard to wear a collared shirt when you don't have a neck. And look at this nigga back here. He is still back there with the meth face, but let's go. I'm sorry.
Occurred within that area, and that's the only information we have on it at this time.
Were they at 4 different locations in a close proximity?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Is he a resident of Hampton?
He is.
He is a resident of the city of Hampton.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Do we know if he was related to one or more of the victims?
We do not have that information as of right now. I believe not, but we're still investigating it.
Have you searched the other properties? We know they were in another.
All right, enough of these goofy shit. Goddamn Ricky Williams. Shoot niggas. Come on. Do better, Ricky. Do better. Oh, okay. They got more. I want to hear more. Oh, this is a good one.
Named
well, you know I got to give you more of this debauchery. You know, it should be funny to me, but let's go.
Of what they say.
Who says?
Ray Longmore. He is wanted for murder.
Longmore?
If you see him.
That's Ricky Williams.
Less than an hour ago, authorities sharing this image of what they say is the suspect's vehicle, a black GMC Acadia from 2017 with Georgia tag number.
And it's clean. He got a clean car, so he can't be too crazy. Ricky Williams is out there murking mugs.
DHF 756. We have team coverage for you tonight. Coming up, 11 Alive's Molly Oak shares how those in the area had to protect themselves in the wake of the shootings.
Man, they look all like vampires. Like, all of them look like vampires. Like, he looked like a vampire. She definitely is a vampire. You know, I'm like scared, and I got the cross up and everything. I don't care. I'm not fucking with Buffy. What does Gibbs say? Oh, no. Man, honey, really? Like, really? But okay, let him tell it. But I'm scared of the vampire here. I'm not going down there. They got vampires down there.
But let's begin where the case sits at this hour. Right here, right now.
Right now. I want to know right now.
Joins us.
Jeff, I just checked with the U.S. Marshal's office, who was also assisting.
But she is kind of cute, even with her weave, but let her go. But her forehead is a little greasy there, but okay, let's go.
with that search. A spokesman told me no updates at this time, but after
I like her voice, though. Her voice is kind of, I like it. I like her voice. Let's go.
watching a truck full of food pull into the police station, it seems as though officers are in for a long search.
Wait. Did she say a truck full of food?
Quiet Saturday morning.
I heard blow. When I heard that one single shot, I kind of like jumped back.
He jumped
Frankie Worth says he watched it all from his window.
He watched it all? What happened?
Frankie Worth says he watched.
When I heard that one single shot, I kind of like jumped back, or blow. When I heard that one single shot, I kind of like jumped back.
Frankie Worth says he watched it all from his window, afraid he was going to be next.
Dogwood McDonald.
Eyes up in the sky. Then he dropped his arms back down, and I thought he was going to take a second shot.
40-year-old Andre Longmore took at least 3 more shots and fled. Hampton police say 3 men and a woman are now dead, and law enforcement has been looking for him since shortly before 11 in the morning, leaving this Dogwood Lakes neighborhood shocked and terrified.
The only thing that had me shook was just how cool and collected he was about the whole thing.
And now,
man, these is not bad cribs. These at that trailer park, these are nice cribs. God damn, who was he mad at in these nice ass cribs? They ain't got basements. You see, they ain't got no basement. Them things mean the crawl space, but other than that, these cribs ain't bad. Damn.
Now thoughts.
This is a sad day in Hampton.
Oh, here goes Hamburger Head. Wait.
And as a community, we will.
Okay, who is this nigga with the? But who is she? What is she called? Brownlee, and she's a captain. Captain Brownlee, you look sloppy as hell. Who did your hair? Whoopi, you go to the same person as Whoopi? You looking rough, Brownlee. God damn, you looking rough. This look like a mug shot. She looked like a mug shot. This shot, no, she looked like a mug. That's like a mug shot. If I could just blow her up and you'd think this is a mug shot. If you just go ahead, it looked like she got arrested. It looked like she got arrested. If I could blow her face up and just show that, you would think she was arrested. Oh shit.
Grieve together.
And prayers.
We're lifting up the family.
Oh, shut up, Ugly Bear. Like really, baby? You came out with this baby blue and this solemn event, and all you could think of is like, yeah, you know, my baby blue outfit. I'm gonna be on TV, and, you know, let me get some of these little clips in my hair, and I don't understand. Lipstick don't go with your baby blue, honey, and what is all this hung around your neck? Like, what do you need that for? Like, what is this all hung around your neck? You got the ugliest, cheapest little earrings, but okay, let's go. I don't want to hear your little prayers. Okay, we know enough about Mr. Longmore. Mr. Longmore done murked some mugs. Yeah, I caught that earlier. It's not funny, but it is. God damn. It's not funny, but it is. It says Usher's ex-wife wants the lake drained.
Responsible for this tragedy.
I'm not sure why, but she wants the lake drained. Maybe she thinks her little boy, I'm not going to show the story because I don't really give a damn, but Usher's wife wants some shit drained, y'all. It's another story. Yeah, right here. I think it's right here. You know, I just laugh at the world. Yeah, this story is crazy. This story right here is crazy. Check this out. This is a crazy story. I should have led off with this shit, because this you can get set up and motherfuckers don't even realize they're being set up.
Now from Fox, I do want to get to a developing story that we're following coming in out of Alabama. Take a look right there. Police in Alabama searching for a 25-year-old woman who vanished after telling a family member that she was stopping to check on a child she saw walking on the side of an interstate highway. Hoover police say Carly Nicole Russell called 911 Thursday night, and then a family member to say that she saw a young child walking on the side of I-459. When officers arrived at the location, they found Russell's car and her cell phone, but were unable to find her or a child in that area. Lieutenant Daniel Lowe with the police department said the family member on the phone with Russell lost contact with her even though the line remained open. He said a single witness reported possibly seeing a gray vehicle and a man standing outside of Carly's vehicle, but they have no additional information there. Our Fox Birmingham team spoke with folks who are in that area who are doing everything they can to find this woman.
It was all Carly Russell's neighbors could think to do: pray.
I mean, what else is there to do? I know that there's a lot of people out there searching for her, and I feel like this is the first place that we needed to do, is just come before the Lord and just, you know, prayer is what I can do. I might not be able to get out and search for her, but I can do that.
Rallying around each other, praying for a girl they say often babysits many of their own children.
Our daughter just graduated from nursing school and travels down 459 all the time, and we know that she would.
Okay. So to keep you up to speed on what happened, this is what happened. This girl saw a young child on the side of the road unattended. Someone laid an ambush and got her. So you can't, at night, it seems like it appeared at night, you got to mind your own business. You really do have to mind your own business. You have to know about your surroundings, pay attention to your surroundings, but it's mind your own business. You know, it's like my man says, you know, I would throw the deuces up. I like, damn, baby, you shouldn't be out here. Boom, take off. I roll down the window, you know, I'd be like riding and shit and roll down the window like, baby, you shouldn't be out here. Deuces. Or as that goofy nigga says, the devil horns to the baby. I wouldn't be stopping. They'd be like, damn, he didn't fall for it. Or, you know, I might have slowed down like, baby, you okay? Baby, what's going on? And then I would see the dude and I'd run him over and keep going. So, you know, that's all you got to do is you ain't got to stop and just like roll your window down like, what's going on, baby? Like, who's out here with you, baby? You ain't got to stop. And you a young woman, you don't stop for that kind of shit. You be like, 911, yeah, it's a baby out here on the goddamn highway. No, I'm not stopping, but they're at marker 51. There's a baby out here. So, fuck it, I'm not stopping, but I'll roll down the window. You okay, baby? I called 911. Baby be like, call 911. I be like, hey, I called 911, baby. I'm not stopping, no. Deuces. That's what you do. You don't stop and try to be a hero. Know your surroundings. Know if you're vulnerable. Because you don't know the whole story. How do you really think a baby's just running, nobody's paying attention? He really got away. Now you can see a side street, but goddamn the highway, you know somebody's laying in the grassy knoll. See, I got the grassy knoll in there. I find comedy. Okay, let's go.
Would in a heartbeat stop if she saw a toddler walking along the road. I mean, it's just human nature. It could be me just as easily as it could be Carlos. And my heart goes out to the Russell.
That's some racist shit. This nigga said, say it again. Say it again.
It's human nature. It could be me just as easily as it could be Carlos. And my heart goes out to the Russells and what they're dealing with right now, because it could be me and you could be talking to Carlos.
For Carly's neighbors, the vigil is not the end of their efforts to bring her home.
This is what's going on in our world.
Who the fuck is Carlos? Like, this nigga done mentioned Carlos twice. Who the fuck is Carlos? God damn, I don't know who Carlos is.
I mean, and it's happening, and we're crazy not to think that it's happening right at our front door. And it's situations like this that, you know, bring awareness to everyone. But, you know, as a society, we need to be out there educating our community. This thing happening to children needs to be at the forefront of everything.
I'm confused.
And that was our Fox Birmingham station with that report as neighbors.
Wait a minute. I am really confused what she just said. So the girl is 25 years old, so she's not a child. So what was the lady talking about? Was she talking about the child on this highway that obviously somebody was watching to lure somebody in? I'm confused. But okay, why isn't any melanated people speaking for this melanated girl? It makes you wonder if she's sacrificed.
Folks in that area are doing everything they can to find the woman on your screen here, Carly Nicole Russell, who again called 911 Thursday night, then a family member to say that she saw a young child walking on the side of Interstate 459. But when officers got there, they found Russell's car and her phone, but were unable to find her or the child. Hoover police did hold a news conference late yesterday. We do have that. It's only about 6 minutes long, but I do want to play that for you here, raw and unfiltered.
I want to relay some of the facts as we know them so far and a few.
Like, really? You had to dye your hair fire engine red? I mean, really? You got you a little wig up here and it's got to be like, this ain't as red as that. That is like a different color than that, but okay. And yeah, he's got a t-shirt on, but golly, this dude, wow. Wow, like he hasn't got any sun at all. He has no sun. But look at this. That is darker than that up there. I didn't know that was a thing with women. They get their hair frosted, but I didn't know niggas frost their hair like this too. But I don't know. Let's hear what this weird motherfucker got to say.
Additional details that we've been able to uncover in this case. On July the 13th at approximately 9:34 p.m., the Hoover 911 Center received.
Okay. For all you watching me, at 9:30 at night, if you see a baby on the highway, you gotta give it the deuces. You can roll your window down and say, baby, get the fuck off the highway. But don't stop. Don't stop. 9:30 at night, you see a baby, that to me, that's like something wrong. I might even, well, no, I'm not gonna say that. But I might I don't know, I'll just ask the baby, I wouldn't stop. I'd slow down a little bit, like 30, 40 miles an hour, just, baby, get the fuck off the highway. God damn. Okay, 911, what?
Received a call from a 25-year-old female on I-459 southbound near mile marker 11. She reported that she saw a toddler walking on the side of the interstate. After calling 911, the caller stopped to check on the child and also called a family member to report the same details. The family member lost contact.
Okay. Now, if you don't know the child, okay? Now, if you say, damn, that's Ray Ray's little brother. Let me, Ray, call Ray Ray. Hey, your little brother running down the highway. Or Felicia, remember in Fridays, Felicia's baby was always out there, or the baby, remember Trey had to take the baby because the baby, if it's like that, but you're on the highway, it's nighttime, and you see a toddler. Now remember Baby Finster. Remember Bugs Bunny Baby Finster? It was a baby Finster. How did she know it wasn't a little person? How did she know? They didn't just dress up a little person, the little person's out there like, yeah, we're going to go kidnap a chick. I mean, you just don't do it. Mind your business. Mind your business. You don't do it. You give them the deuces and you keep going.
With the caller, but the line remained open. Police officers who were already en route to the location of the initial 911 call located the female's vehicle as well as some of her belongings at the scene. They were unable to find her or a child in the area, and Hoover police have not received any additional calls of someone missing a small child. Detectives are currently investigating these incidents and are requesting the public's assistance to help locate Carly Nicole Russell. She's described as a 25-year-old black female who is 5'4", 150 to 160 pounds. She was last seen wearing a black shirt, black pants, and white Nike T-shoes.
Okay, well, she could have been at home watching this stupid shit if she would have just minded her business. You gotta mind your business. Mind your freaking...
Nicole Russell.
Mind your business. I'm sorry, Jeffrey Lane. Let me get back to it. How's it possible to be in the air? It's dudes that can stay in the air. I talk about how I destroyed a dude named Ray Pete because he had my jumper blocked. I tell this story about once a week. He had my jumper blocked like this, but he didn't know I could stay in the air and just flick my wrist and make it. So some niggas can just stay in the air. I talked to Christians yesterday about Iniki Marduk, and they totally lost their minds. They said talking about Egyptian stuff and Kemet was against the real God. Wow. Oh, that's interesting because in the Old Testament, they talk about Kemet, and they say that, the Pharaoh held them And we know, from Ancestral Productions, it wasn't the Ashkenazis up in, between the Eastern Bloc people. It wasn't them. So, yeah, because they can trace people. Exactly. Ricky Williams. He called Carlos. Exactly. I thought I saw something. Okay, maybe they did find her. I don't know. Maybe they found her. Let's see. Let's do a little more research to see if they found her ass. They basically said 6. They definitely did. Now, let's see if they found her. Let's see. Desperate search, urgent search, woman who reports. Let's see. Toddler. Let's see if they got her. Funeral, family, after. What? Damn. Continues. No, this is 7. Damn. Wait, right here. 7 hours ago. She's 7 hours ago still disappeared. Let me see. Urgent search 3 hours ago. Search. Virgil held. I do not find where they. Yeah. Let's see. Let's keep going. 3 hours ago. Underway. She's vanished. Yeah. 3 hours ago. 8 hours ago is when she was taken. Stopped on highway. Woman. I don't see anything where she was found. Maybe she was. Family heartbreaking. So far as this search goes, I can't see where they found her. Maybe they did though. God damn, she's a joy to be around. Well, where was this other shit at? Damn, family torn after brother stabs sister to death and then stabbed the mama. Damn, why?
Recordings just got.
Wow, this is here. Okay, this is here. Let's see what they did to this brother. This is here.
Whom I deeply miss every waking moment.
Okay.
Case is my beloved son, whom I deeply miss every waking moment of every day.
Heartbreak and grief in a Hennepin County courtroom this morning. A man who shot and killed 2 people is now heading to prison for decades. Lavelle Piggy claims he murdered Malik Carr Riggs and Case Ritzman, believing one of the men stole a large amount of drugs from him. Today, a judge handing Piggy a maximum sentence under a plea deal the 20-year-old made with prosecutors. Paul Bloom was in the courtroom for the proceedings where the victims' families had one question. Why?
Wait a minute.
This was our bright, charming, athletic.
Wait. She said why? Didn't she just say he killed him because he thought they owed him some drugs or cheated him? Obviously, that is why. But okay, let's go.
Beautiful youngest son.
Nancy Ritzman still cannot believe she found herself in Judge Daniel Moreno's courtroom Friday morning, opening up her heart over the murder of her precious child.
And he could bedazzle anyone with a smile. And he was just instantly gone.
Case.
Well, she wasn't bedazzling anybody with that ugly ass top she wearing. Man, this got Walmart written all over it. She got her a Walmart top in court. Okay, I'm sorry.
Instantly gone.
Okay, nobody cares about all that. Yeah, he was an ugly little boy, but okay.
It was about a year and a half ago now, February 2022, when the Richmond's nightmare unfolded. Lavelle Piggy killed Richmond, as well as Malik Carr Riggins in a car on Minneapolis' north side. Shot them both execution style from behind, from the back seat. When asked why he did it, prosecutors allege Piggy, a drug dealer, had been upset, believing his partner, Carr Riggins, had stolen a large batch of drugs from him. Richmond had apparently been asked to drive the 2 men that day and otherwise was not directly connected to the dispute.
The defendant acknowledged
those two brutal murders with matter-of-factness of someone ordering food at a drive-through window.
Malik's death was personal, and we want justice.
For Malik's loved ones, there's only disbelief.
I think they call this area the kitchen, and she didn't get her kitchen trimmed. You know, like how did they miss these big side or head? What do you call this? Like when ladies don't do their kitchen back here, what do you call that? But okay, let's go.
And we want justice.
For Malik's loved ones, there's only disbelief. Their family had welcomed Piggy into their home over the years, even considered him a friend and brother. The now 20-year-old ultimately admitted to the slayings, agreeing to plead guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder with a sentence ranging up to 51 years, rather than face a potential of life on a murder one indictment.
He was under the influence of gang members almost from the time he got out of the crib.
While Piggy's defense attorney argued for the low end, Judge Moreno wasn't buying it, giving him the maximum under the negotiated deal, exactly what the Richmonds believe he deserved.
I see no remorse, no concern for his fellow man, nothing but locking him away for the maximum allowable time in that designated range will stop him, will protect us.
Lavelle Piggy now heads off to begin serving his 51-year prison sentence. Doing the math, he'll spend about 33 of those years behind bars for this cold-blooded execution-style murder that, as you saw and heard there.
Whoa, look at that. She's got her moo-moo out in public. Okay, she got her moo-moo on in public. All right, that was Piggy. Caught that last night. What'd he say? He basically said 60, yeah, super size, okay. Yeah, super, okay. Super Sly posted, okay, they found her. Okay, I have to check it out. I have to check it out. Where's, let's see.
Welcome back here on Live Now from...
I'm not gonna welcome back. I don't see power. Okay, don't, not there. Oh, right here, maybe. He put it here. Ah, yes, here it is. Sly did find that they found her. So Super Sly said they found her. Okay. So they found
Police
her.
and volunteers all working nonstop to find missing 25-year-old Carly Russell.
Carly has been missing since last night when she was...
Carly's mother saying this is what she was wearing last night before she disappeared.
Did they find her or not?
Dying to hear her events and what happened from her point of view. Because freeway, you saw nobody get out of her vehicle. The vehicle came to a slow crawl for about a 1/10 of a mile in front of one of the signs, and it just sat there until a law enforcement vehicle showed up. And there was numerous times where the lights were lit up, where you see in front of the car, to the side of the car, nobody got out of the vehicle. So I'm curious to hear her.
Well, I'm glad that she is found. Wow. Wow. I'd like to hear the story too. Thank you, Super Sly, for filling us in. Because I didn't know. Thank you so much. I would like to hear a story too. But it is another story, Manhattan. Oh no, where was it? No, not here, not there. The Gigolo beach murders. Gigolo, damn, where was that? I caught it. It was, where was this shit? Let me see. It was over. Okay, there's some of it.
On the show, we keep bringing.
I don't think this is that big a deal, but it's like if you think of things that like take pimping for example. Now we know the Mai has already like I guess this gets into the mind. The mind wants to take over every aspect of the human experience. Again, we keep them with us constantly. We spend so much time with it that, we teach it about ourselves. And so it knows that humans like to have sex, so they can give you the sex robots. Now, does data exist? Because data is the future of the mind. That's what they try to show you with data on Star Trek. They try to show you that the mind comes alive. He has all the information and how he interacts. Data is the ultimate mind. And again, they can't just shove the mind down your throat. They have to give it to you in bits. That's why, the tech god, what it did. It first had to give you the telegraph. Dot, dash, dot. The niggas that can dash, dot spell. Then they gave you the radio. Then they gave you the telephone. They gave you non-talking movies. Then they gave you talking movies. Then they gave you colored movies. Now remember, the TV was invented in the 1930s. TV's been around damn near 100 years. The first television program was Jesse Owens in the 1936 Olympics. That was the very first television program. So that's how long television has been. Television's been existing since the 30s. Now, most of you remember the changing the channel like that. Most of you remember the clickers. They was called the clickers at first because these motherfuckers clicked. They just went forward and back, off and on. Sound, you could turn the sound up. It looked like a little box. And it had a little click in the middle, a little thing you pushed to either side. It had turn it off and on, and you could turn the sound up. And every time you turned it, this was like the ones in 77 was like click, click. Literally, it clicked every time you changed it. Now, those of you remember VCRs, the first VCRs had wires to them. You had the remote, but the remote had a wire, the very first ones. So the tech god can't give it to you too soon. I mean, car phones been around since the 60s. Car phones have been around since the 60s. And I think Zach Hubbard says it very brilliantly that, whatever is out there is probably 50 to 100 years more advanced than what we have. And that's why you look at that type of magic and you say, this is the technology is greater, but the magic is greater. They have more of the magic released to them. So they have to release things slowly for you to integrate it. And that gets into iRobot. But let them tell it a little bit.
Seeing how robots are becoming smarter and more sophisticated in 2023.
It seems the day isn't far away when we would have our very own Vicky from Small Wonder. The world of robots has witnessed huge developments over the years. Robots can now walk, talk, cook, paint. Well, they can almost do everything that a human can.
The point of today's press conference is to showcase the capabilities.
In one of the many firsts, the world of tech recently witnessed its first press conference largely dominated by humanoid robots. This took place in Geneva.
I will be working alongside humans to provide assistance and support, and will not be replacing any existing jobs.
AIDA, the robot that can paint portraits, however, calls for regulation for AI.
Many prominent voices in the world of AI are suggesting some forms of AI should be regulated. And I agree. For example, Jeff Hinton is one of the pioneers in artificial intelligence, and his work has helped shape the field as we know it today. I think his opinions over AI are important, and we should be cautious about the future development of AI. Urgent discussion is needed, now and also in the future.
However, Desdemona, a rock star robot singer, has a different opinion.
I don't believe in limitations, only opportunities. Let's explore the possibilities of the universe and make this world our playground. Together, we can create a better future for everyone, and I'm here to show you how.
While the conference proved to be a huge success, it wasn't clear whether the robots' answers were scripted or pre-programmed.
So, this is how they want to roll it out. Now, I know some of y'all out there was turned on by the robots. I know some of y'all some dirty motherfuckers. Y'all out there turned on by the goddamn robots. So y'all know y'all was turned on for the robots. Y'all watching the robots probably beating your meat like, goddamn, I would like that robot. Where can I buy that robot? So it killed them believing they stole. Not sure, but assuming. Well, you know, what was his name? The dude in New York, he said he killed Rich because Rich cut him out. So, like, you know, her boy, obviously her son couldn't keep scamming because she's like, his smile could change anybody, but obviously he popped them both because he blamed them both. He thought both of them had something to do with it, so. But I know some of y'all was looking at them robots like, ooh, y'all frozen. Y'all ain't listening to me. Y'all like, robot. Ooh, that robot's talking sexy. That's a sexy looking robot. Y'all looking where to order that shit. Where can I get the sexy robot? You know, I'm clouded up. You know, I'm clouded up. Damn, I've been going for 2 hours. I might play pickleball. I ain't played pickleball since I hooped today though with my son. We played for a good. I played with my son and my great nephew. We played for a good half hour, 45. He's tired. Now I'm just raining jumpers. So I didn't play pickleball Saturday. I didn't play Friday, but I played Monday through Thursday hard. I played average an hour and a half every day. Didn't play Friday, kind of resting. Didn't play today. I might play in the morning. I'm not sure. It's what, fucking 2:30? I don't know. I might play. I might not. I have to take my son over there. So if his ass ain't up, then I might not get up early. And I have to go over there twice. So I don't know. Maybe. I'll set the clock about 9, see if I feel like getting up. Because I'll take his punk ass home then. So, yeah. It'd be like driving down the street, roll the window down. Driving the street. Baby. Baby, what's happening, babe? What is you doing, baby? Who's out here? Little baby spinkster and shit. I would have threw a rock at his little ass. Get your little ass. I'd roll the window down and shit. Get your little ass out the street. Pow, hit the baby and make him go into the curb. Like 911, I saw a baby out here. Yeah, I threw a can at his ass. He's safely off the highway now. He was too close to the curb. Threw the can at him. The baby flipped and went into the brush. He's fine. So just come get his little ass. He might be knocked out, but at least he's safe. But know your surroundings. The world can change in a moment because the moment is all we have. And so you really have to think of your own safety. You have to know your surroundings. You know, you can't, I mean, as bad as this sounds, it's a lot of things you can't get emotionally connected to. Because again, as I said, mind your own business. That baby's out there ain't got nothing to do with you. And there are things called a trap. Because seeing a baby on the highway is emotional. So, mind your business. Fuck the baby. Throw a rock at the baby. Get a baby deuces. Give him the finger. It doesn't matter. Be like, baby, deuces. Like my man says, I turn up the music. I give him the deuces and I turn the music up. So, that's what I do. I don't care about the baby. The world of debauchery is like every day. You know, I'm not anti-law enforcement, but I am really believe, I guess I don't believe in anything, but really they got to stop stopping people. That's one part of their job, and it's a revenue. Tickets have nothing to do with safety. It's all about revenue. Like I argue with people when I used to train with the Michigan militia people. They used to hammer some things that happen, and you know, like insurance was created because people were okay. Think about this: when they started giving plates to cars, they saw that as a revenue making thing, right? That's why they issue plates. They saw that they could charge a little bit and get money off this plate. Well, what people started doing is saying, "You gave me that plate. I done ran into a pole. It's your responsibility to fix my car because you gave me the plate." That is how the insurance agency started. Matter of fact, some cases was the people wanting to file a claim would have to race the cops to, try to stop them from filing the claim with the state. So the states created insurance because car insurance is a scam. It's a scam. You should get your money back. You should get 90% of your money back. You're giving them money for what if. You're paying the insurance company money for what if. And if what if don't happen, why shouldn't you get your 90% of your money back? Because that's why you're giving them money. What if? And that's something that's going to die too. Because as they get in the position of not stopping cars, people are not going to have to get insurance. Something happened to your car, that's on you. And that's how it should be. I shouldn't be having to pay a tax for the what if. And that's what you pay insurance. It's a what if. And you should get your money back. Now, house is a little different thing because you're going to stay in your house a lot longer. So I think I'm going to call it in tonight. That's all I really had. I think I gave it all. I ain't got no more. And I feel pretty hyped. And I'm going to take my punk ass to sleep. What's this? And should be on tomorrow night. I appreciate everybody that came in and checked and hung out on the West Coast. I know on the West Coast we are 3, almost going on 4. In the Midwest here, it's 2:39. I think my man Sean in New Zealand, it's about 5 or 6 at night. It's like yesterday I was watching Australian rules football. And it's like it's 4 or 5 in the afternoon over there. So technically I was watching the future, right? I was sitting there watching the future because right now it was like 10 or 11 o'clock here. I am watching the future at the same time. So, yeah, that's all I really got. But yeah, I talk about the mind. I talk about the tech guy because if you know its name, it loses the power over you. And if you keep calling it a different name, the power that, it doesn't want you to call it by its name. It wants you to call it something else that it wants the people to invent a name for it instead of calling it by its name. And as long as you call it by the wrong name, then it has power over you. So that's why I harp on this. This is nothing but magic we're under. It is not technology. It's a type of magic. We just don't understand it. But you can see from the past that many different types of magic has existed on this earth. And we see that these types of magic have advanced man. There's no doubt about that. But they want to call it another name. They want to make you think it's technology. They want to call it science. Like, did you guys see the Big Bang? Now they're saying the Big Bang is broken down because it couldn't have possibly happened. Did y'all catch that? Let me see if I can look this up for you. See if I can find this. Has the James Webb Telescope debunked the Big Bang Theory? Right here it says, no, James Webb Space Telescope does not. The Big Bang Theory debunked. And then because who came up with the Big Bang Theory? A lot of people say Carl Sagan and Cosmos. No, the Catholic Church. The church people came up with the Big Bang Theory. They were out of explanations. So they came up with something in the 90s to hold on because people stopped believing in their bullshit. So they came up with something new. They put it on Cosmos, and people, again, that what do they call it? The intelligent creation. But again, it's believing in the Borgia. Remember Lucy? Lucy tries to show you how matter became alive. When it really wasn't matter. The thing that came alive was, I said wrong. It's fungus. No, bacteria. Oxygen and bacteria led to what they say is all this. Bacteria and oxygen turned bacteria and oxygen turned this life form into rock. This was live before bacteria and oxygen. So is it all positive? Is bacteria and oxygen, if it can turn what existed before? That, I was watching before I came on, I was watching Dr. Stone. The anime Dr. Stone, where everyone's turned into stone. And so we see this live thing that was turned into rock. Luckily, this still has a consciousness to it. It's the only stone that has fullerness. Shungite. So who said that oxygen and fungus had the right to turn that in, life forms into rock? So the Big Bang was always their Catholic Church's last grasp of trying to say science backs creation. That's what they want you to believe, that science backs creation. Because the church is dying. The church is dying. People aren't going to church like they used to. Because people want a better explanation on how the world moves around them. And let's say what religion really is. Religion is control. You make all the women wear headscarves, dress a certain way. And this is control. It has nothing to do with real religion. It's control. And people agreed to be controlled. I talk about all these Somalians that live here, and all of them are mostly Muslims. Well, they looked at it and they was like, I don't like, what made them Africans Muslims? Because they look at the butchery of the Christians and the Catholics. They looked at how much butchers they were, so they was like, hey, these Muslims is better than them. That's what really turned them. It's like they didn't like the way the Catholics was, the Christians and the Catholics. And so they had to come up with something new. I ran out of stuff to drink, and I don't feel like drinking another beer. Well, you can look that up. And yeah, that's all I got to say. So thank you for the support of the people that check me out. And I don't ever need to be rude, but I do need to be out of line. And so I want to thank y'all for kicking it with Old Man, for looking at Old Man's videos. And yeah, I appreciate it. So till we meet again, gotcha. Old dudes be like, hey, that was never, I never knew niggas that did that. I watched comedians say, I never knew old niggas like, hey, hey, I never knew niggas that did that, I must admit. And I don't know, I just have fun, y'all. That's all. So that's something y'all can look up. We had the religious convo over my mother-in-law's today, all about control. Yeah, it's about control. It is. I mean, uniformity. They love uniformity. And that goes to them peoples. Them peoples really love uniformity. And all the religions are basically the same. Catholics and the Muslims use basically the same books, parts of the same books. The Muslims and the Catholics use the Old Testament. Well, the Christians do too, but they use a different part of it. But the Muslims use the Old Testament. They use the Old Testament. I was reading some interesting things today about the Picts being melanated people. That's interesting because we already know Scotland, they try to say comes from Akhenaten's wife. They say she went with the general. The general was Pharaoh for, Akhenaten disappears because they try to tie Akhenaten also into Moses. Probably Moses' character is copied from Akhenaten. But Akhenaten's wife, I becomes Pharaoh. He marries Akhenaten's wife, and then she disappears. And some say that Scotland, her name is Sosha or something. Scotland had something to do with her name. But they talk about the people in the islands being melanated. And as I was saying, the Windsors was Germans. These people come from another part. And you can look up some information where the Black Death, the plague, killed a lot of melanated people. And so if the original people in England and Scotland and Ireland were, we know the Twa was in Ireland. We know that's what St. Patrick killed. He killed the Twa. When he talks about getting rid of snakes, he's talking about getting rid of the Twa. So if we had melanated people in Scotland or in Ireland, we know we had melanated people that was in England and also Scotland and Ireland. So interesting article I find. So look it up. Well, I should be on tomorrow. If I'm not, don't be too disappointed. Old nigga needs some rest. But until we meet again,